By the time the bathroom mirror fogged for the second time, Lily had already started over. She wiped the glass with the side of her wrist, streaking foundation onto the cheap towel rail. A pale, blonde woman stared back at her. Blue eyes, tired from too many late nights at the office. A soft mouth that never looked as sharp and sculpted as the tutorials promised. On the back of the toilet tank, a spiral notebook lay open, pages filled with cramped handwriting. Look 47, warm peach. Too washed out. Look 51, smoky eye. Jenna said, too heavy for your face. Look 52, dewy glass skin. Dad asked if I was sweating. Today she'd written at the top in careful letters. Look 53, soft glam for brunch photos. Her phone buzzed on the sink. Don't forget, family photos are at 11. Wear something that doesn't fight with your face. And please do your hair right this time. Jenna. Of course. Lily's thumb hovered over the screen. She could almost hear her sister's voice anyway. That bright, practiced tone Jenna used for clients and Instagram. Half compliment, half warning. The older sister with a perfect winged liner and the real estate billboard on the highway. The one who always knew where the light was best. Lily tugged at her own blonde hair, a little too fine, a little too stubborn to hold the glossy waves Jenna preferred. She twisted a section, let it fall, then reached for her curling iron like it might apologize for her. From the hallway came the soft creak of a floorboard. Emma. Lily called, keeping her voice light. An eye appeared in the crack of the door, followed by a small, sleepy face framed in tangled blonde that echoed Lily's more than Jenna's. Mom said you're making us late again, Emma reported quietly. Lily smiled without showing teeth. I'm almost done, Bug. Just adjusting. Emma's gaze slid to the notebook. Are those all faces? Just different ways to do makeup, Lily said. For, big events. Emma stepped inside now, toes curling on the coal tile. How many? Lily flicked through the pages, paper whispering against her thumb. 52 so far, she said, then corrected herself. 53, if this one works. Emma frowned thoughtfully. That's a lot. Your mom says I haven't found the right one yet, Lily joked, dabbing concealer under her eyes. Apparently some faces need more help. She meant it as light. It didn't sound that way. Emma's reflection looked up at her, brow knotted. I like your face now, she said. It looks like you. Before Lily could answer, her phone buzzed again. Lily, seriously. The photographer is good, but not magical. Bring your little mirror if you need to fix things there. Don't make this weird. Her chest tightened. The sponge in her hand paused, mid-dab. There had been a time, years ago, when Jenna's messages were softer. When they traded lip gloss in the back of their mother's car and compared magazine covers. Somewhere between then and now, the comments had changed. You could be so cute if you learned what works on your features. You're lucky you're thin, at least. I'm just being honest. It's better if it comes from me. Lily set down the sponge. In the mirror, look 53 stared back. Neutral eyeshadow, a careful wing, blush blended like she'd practiced all week. It was close to the tutorial. It was careful. It was trying so hard. How do I look? She asked, aiming for playful. Emma studied her with the seriousness of someone grading artwork. You look like Aunt Lily, she said, but a little sadder. The answer hit harder than any of Jenna's texts. Lily turned back to the sink, fingers resting on the cool porcelain. The notebook was still open, waiting to swallow another verdict. Behind her, Emma watched, arms wrapped around herself, bare feet on tile. Can you tell Mom I'll be there by 10:30? Lily said softly. I'm just going to fix one more thing. Emma hesitated, then nodded and patted away, the floorboard squeaking again as she disappeared down the hall. Silence settled over the bathroom. The only sounds were the hum of the light and Lily's own breathing. She reached for a makeup wipe. Very slowly, carefully, she pressed it to her cheek and dragged downward. Foundation smeared onto white. The winged liner blurred. Look 53 dissolved, leaving her bare skin flushed and a little blotchy. She met her own eyes in the mirror. Without contour and shimmer, she looked younger. More like the girl who used to read paperbacks on the back steps and never thought about angles. Her phone buzzed again across the sink, lit up with Jenna's name, the preview flashing. Just remember, these pictures last forever. Lily let the phone buzz out. She picked up her pen instead. On the next line of the notebook, beneath all the failed looks, she wrote, hand shaking just a little. Hashtag 53 washed off. She stared at the words, then at the face in the mirror that had survived 52 attempts to improve it. Somewhere between her collarbone and her throat, something small and stubborn shifted, like a drawer she hadn't opened in years. There had to be a better way to live than counting looks in a notebook and watching herself fail. She snapped the notebook shut. Jenna still hadn't seen this face. Not really. Not without corrections and apologies. Maybe, Lily thought as she reached for a simple tinted lip balm instead of a full kit. The real experiment wasn't another layer she could add. Maybe the real experiment was what would happen if she stopped trying to erase the person already there. She gathered her keys and bag, left the notebook on the back of the toilet, and walked out of the bathroom with her bare face catching the late morning light. Whatever happened at that brunch, she had the uneasy feeling that look 53 wasn't going to fit inside the notebook anymore. By Monday morning, the brunch had already turned into a highlight reel in Lily's head. You couldn't even put on a little mascara, Jenna had whispered at the restaurant, smile frozen for the photographer. You know humidity is not your friend, right? Lily remembered the way the photographer's lens had hovered over them like a patient bird. Jenna's lipstick perfect, her chin angled just so. Their father trying to look less tired, his plaid shirt fighting with the floral wallpaper. Emma squeezed between them, one arm around each aunt, eyes bright. Let's take one more, Jenna had said, every time the preview appeared on the camera screen. Can we blur her a bit? Just soften her? She looks flat. Her. Not Lily. Just her. Now at the dermatology office front desk, Lily straightened the stack of intake forms and tried to let the memories slide off like old powder. Behind her, the waiting room walls were lined with posters. Smiling faces, smooth foreheads, flawless jawlines. Before and after shots where the before people looked strangely like her on bad days. Morning superstar. Marco breezed in from the hallway, ferrying a tray of individually packaged alcohol wipes and a clipboard. His dark hair was threaded with gray, his scrubs a little wrinkled, his ID badge askew. He moved like a man who had spent years in rooms where other people's discomfort was the center of gravity and had learned to carry his own quietly. You're early, Lily said. I like to arrive before the pores do, he replied. Helps me feel in control of my destiny. She smiled, despite herself. He gave her a quick once-over, the way nurses do, out of habit more than curiosity. No dramatic eye today, no shimmer or contour. Just a touch of tinted balm, a swipe of mascara she'd added at the last minute, so she wouldn't look sick in the fluorescent light. New look? He asked gently. Less of one, she said. I ran out of faces. Marco tapped the counter with 2 fingers. For the record, this one works fine. She rolled her eyes. Compliments always slid off like water on glass. You have to say that. You work in a place that sells confidence in a bottle. We sell serums, he corrected. Confidence is always extra. When there was a lull, she pulled her spiral notebook from her bag, thinking she could quickly jot down a to-do list for the week. But when she opened it, the familiar columns of Look 34, Look 46, Look 52 stared up at her like a row of judges. Her pen hovered over the next blank line. Is that the sacred text? Marco's voice drifted over. Lily snapped the notebook a little too fast. It's nothing. Just lists. Ah, he said unfazed. The book of everything I haven't done yet. I have one too, only mine's on my phone, and mostly says stretch and call my sister. He loaded charts into his arms, then paused. You know, if the book is stressing you out more than it's helping, you're allowed to fire it. It's fine, she said automatically. It's just experiments. With what? She hesitated, then sighed. Makeup. Styles. For photos. My sister has opinions. His eyes warmed in a way that felt like understanding, not pity. I've met the type. One type? She asked. There's a whole species. He chuckled. Well, for what it's worth, your face looks like a human being's, which is more than I can say for some of those posters. She glanced at a nearby before and after shot. The after model skin, so smooth it barely looked like skin at all. That's the goal, isn't it? She said softly. To be the after. Maybe for people who think they were born a before, he replied. But some of us were just born. The phone rang, a patient asking about appointment times, and their conversation dissolved into schedules and insurance questions. By the time the lobby emptied out again, it was almost 3. Her phone buzzed with Jenna's name. Can you pick up Emma at school? Client emergency. I'll get her from your place later. Make sure her hair's brushed. We're doing a reel tonight. Lily looked at the clock. She was supposed to restock brochures and confirm Tuesday's cancellations, but another nurse could handle that. She texted back, Sure, I'll head over right after work. When she clocked out early, Marco raised an eyebrow. Big plans. School pickup, she said. Niece duty. Ah, the real work, he said. Tell her the nurse with the tragic handwriting says hi. The elementary school smelled like crayons, hand sanitizer, and something fried. Lily stopped at the front office, signed her name on the clipboard, and walked down the hallway lined with bulletin boards. Children's artwork flapped gently in the air conditioning. Halfway down, she saw Emma's name in fat blue marker above a cluster of drawings. Family, the border read. Lily slowed without meaning to. Crayon families posed in front of houses, under rainbows, next to pets. In Emma's picture, there were 3 people standing under a patchy sun. One in a bright pink dress with yellow hair and big, round eyes. One in a blue jacket, hair pulled back, mouth a straight line. One smaller figure in between, holding both their hands. Lily, Emma, M-O-M. The names were scrawled in shaky letters underneath. The woman in pink was not Jenna. Lily stepped closer. The pink-dressed figure was colored in with such intensity that the paper had gone soft. The blue-jacketed woman beside her, clearly Jenna, with her long hair, was mostly correct in shape, but her face was drawn with a tiny phone in one hand. Little lines of color surrounded it, like buzzing. Underneath the picture, in a childish, painstaking sentence, Emma had written, My Aunt Lily is the one who makes people feel nice. Lily read it twice, her throat tightening. Beautiful, isn't it? She turned to see a woman in a cardigan and sensible shoes, a lanyard with art club coordinator swinging at her chest. "You're Emma's," the woman squinted. "Mom." Lily shook her head quickly. "No, I'm her aunt." "Ah." The coordinator smiled. "Well, she talks about you a lot. Says you're her safe person when things are too loud at home." She made little air quotes. Kids have a way of simplifying us. Lily looked back at the drawing. Her yellow hair, her homey dress, the fierce, uneven pink that marked her out as the brightest thing in the frame. Safe person. Her own self-image had always been muddy. Too plain, too soft, too much before, and not enough after. In Jenna's world, she was the background, the one who had to try harder just to avoid ruining the shot. Here, in wax and paper, she was the center of color. She worked very hard on that sentence, the coordinator added. She wanted to write the pretty one, but then said, "No, that's not right. Aunt Lily is the one who makes people feel nice." Something fragile in Lily's chest gave way, not with a crash, but like a button finally slipping out of the wrong hole. "Thank you," she managed, "for telling me." Emma burst from the classroom a moment later, backpack half-zipped, hair wild. "Aunt Lily," she shouted, running up. Lily knelt, so they were eye to eye. "I saw your drawing," she said. "You made me very pink." "That's my favorite," Emma said simply. "You're the pink one." Jenna would have corrected the color, pointed out undertones and seasons, and what clashed with what. Emma had just picked what felt right. As they walked down the hallway together, Emma's small hand tucked into Lily's, the girl chattered about spelling tests and friendship bracelets. Lily listened, but her mind kept circling back to the bulletin board. 53 looks in a notebook, chasing some version of acceptability that kept evaporating. One drawing on a wall, colored until the paper nearly tore, declaring that she was already something worth circling in pink. Maybe, Lily thought as they stepped out into the late afternoon light, she wasn't the only one who had been misreading her reflection all these years. The ring light made everything look harsher. Jenna had set it up in the living room, facing a bland beige wall she called her content corner. Tripod, softbox, phone clipped in place, couch shoved aside. The coffee table was covered in palettes and brushes like a painter's battlefield. "Okay, one more take," Jenna said, voice bright and sharp. "We go from messy to polished in under 15 seconds. People love a good transformation." Emma sat on a bar stool, shoulders slumped, hair already combed so many times it clung to her head. "It's already polished," she muttered. Jenna pretended not to hear. "Lily, can you just stand here for the before shot?" Lily froze in the doorway, still in her work cardigan, keys in hand. "The what?" "The before," Jenna repeated, impatient. "I want to show the difference between, regular and a little effort." She fluttered a hand toward her own face, perfectly made up. "You don't need to do anything, just be natural. It's relatable." Emma's eyes flicked to Lily, then back to the floor. "I don't want to be in your reel," Lily said carefully. "I just came to drop off Emma's art supplies and talk about her parent-teacher thing." Jenna sighed dramatically. "You're always so sensitive." "It's not about you. I just need contrast. You'll be in the background, blurred. You won't even really be seen." Somehow, that sounded worse. Lily set the bag of markers and glue sticks on the counter. "Then use a plant," she said. "They're good at sitting still." Emma snorted into her sleeve. Jenna's smile cooled a degree. "This is kind of my job, remember? I actually know what performs." People respond to aspirational content. They want to see a clear line between before and after, problem and solution. "People," Lily echoed softly, "or you? What does that mean?" Jenna's eyes narrowed. "It means maybe you don't always need someone else to play problem. so you can feel like the solution. The room went very still. The ring light hummed. On the counter, a compact lay open, highlighter gleaming like a tiny pressed moon. Emma's feet swung nervously above the hardwood. "Wow," Jenna said finally. Somebody woke up dramatic. "I woke up tired," Lily said. "Tired of feeling like my face is this ongoing project you're disappointed in." Jenna laughed, high and bright. "You're reading way too much into this. It's not that deep, Lil. You're making it weird." Emma slid off the stool. "Can we not do the real?" she asked. "My head hurts." "In a minute, baby," Jenna said, still looking at Lily. "This is how we pay for your art classes, remember?" Guilt slid between Lily's ribs, familiar and sharp. Jenna always knew where to press. "Fine," Lily said. "I'll just go. I wanted to talk about Emma's drawing, but it can wait." "What drawing?" Jenna asked. "The family one," Lily said. "The one she hung on the bulletin board." Emma went still. "Oh," Jenna said lightly. "That thing. Yeah, she showed me. It's cute." "She wrote something important under it," Lily said. "About me." Jenna waved a hand. "She writes a lot of things. Last week, she said she wanted to marry a watermelon. Kids are random." Emma's throat bobbed. "It wasn't random," she whispered. Lily caught her eye. "I know," she said. Jenna tossed her hair back, impatience sharpening her features. "Look, we don't have time for this. I have a brand collab going live in 2 hours. And if we don't film this, we miss the window. Can you please stop making everything about your self-esteem spiral? It should have rolled off, the way it always did." Jenna was busy. Jenna was stressed. Jenna didn't mean it that way. But Lily heard Marco's voice in her head, calm and steady. "Maybe the book is stressing you out more than it's helping. You're allowed to fire it." Maybe, she thought, some scripts deserve to be fired too. "Emma," Lily said gently, "do you actually want to do this reel right now?" Emma looked between them, torn. "If I say no, Mom gets mad," she said. "If I say yes, you look sad." It was the kind of raw, honest sentence only a child could get away with. Jenna flinched. "See what you're doing?" she snapped at Lily. "You're putting her in the middle of your issues. That's selfish." Lily felt something inside her tilt, like a picture hanging crooked, finally giving up and crashing down. She set her keys on the counter so they wouldn't rattle in her hand. "I'm not the one putting her in the middle," she said quietly. "You are. Every time you use my face as a warning label and her as a prop." "That is not fair," Jenna said. Her voice had lost some of its glossy confidence. "I'm trying to build something here. I don't have the luxury of not caring what I look like." "Neither do I," Lily said. "I just don't feel my panic about it." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Can we stop talking about faces?" she burst out. "I like Aunt Lily's face. I don't want it to be a problem." Silence fell heavier than before. For a moment, Lily thought Jenna might apologize. Her sister's mouth opened, then closed again. Instead, Jenna reached for her phone. "Fine," she said briskly. "We'll shoot something else. Go fix your hair. We'll make it a mom and daughter glow-up. Lily clearly has too much going on." Emma's shoulders slumped. She walked toward the hallway bathroom, but not before giving Lily a look that said, without words, "I tried." Lily watched her disappear, a small figure carrying too much tension for such narrow shoulders. "Don't look at me like that," Jenna said. "You're the one who came in here itching for a fight. You always do this right before something important to me." "Right," Lily said dully. "Because everything is about you." "That's not what I—" "It kind of is," Lily said, more tired than angry. "When we were kids, it was whose hair Mom liked better. In high school, It was who fit in the dress. Now it's who ruins your content. I'm always the shadow, Jenna. I just finally noticed how cold it is here. Jenna's jaw tightened. If you're so miserable, you don't have to be in our lives, she shot back. No one is forcing you. The words landed like a slap. No one is forcing you. For years, Lily had believed the opposite, that she was necessary, that she was Emma's buffer, that she was the only one who could stand between Jenna's sharp edges and their father's quiet disappointment. Maybe the truth was harsher. Maybe she was the only one still pretending the arrangement worked. Her throat burned. I think I need some space, she said, surprising herself. For a while. Jenna blinked. What's that supposed to mean? It means I love Emma and I love Dad, Lily said. But I can't keep showing up just to be the before picture in your life. So you're abandoning your niece to prove a point? Jenna demanded. Real mature. I'm not abandoning her, Lily said, voice trembling. I'm stepping out of a role that hurts me. That's different. It didn't feel different. It felt like walking away from a house you'd spent years patching, knowing the roof would probably leak without you there. Lily picked up her keys. Her hand left a faint smear of highlighter on the counter, catching the ring light and throwing a small, stubborn shimmer onto the beige. Tell Emma I'll call her, she said. Jenna folded her arms. If she's not too busy drawing new ants, she muttered. Lily didn't answer. Outside, the air was cool against her hot cheeks. She sat in her car with her hands on the steering wheel, breath shallow. In the rearview mirror, her face looked like it always had. Too soft, too plain, familiar. But something behind it had shifted. The way a foundation crack finally travels all the way up the wall. For the first time, she let herself say the thought fully, without editing. I can't keep living like this. Not as a punchline. Not as a prop. Not as the blank before everyone felt entitled to fix. Her phone buzzed on the passenger seat. A new message from Marco slid across the screen. Clinic potluck Friday. I'm making tragically dry brownies. You in? Lily stared at the text, then typed back before she could overthink it. I'll bring something. And a story. Her thumb hovered, then added, I think I finally fired a job I wasn't getting paid for. She hit send, leaned her head back against the seat, and let herself cry quietly, where no ring light could find her. The first thing Lily did when she got home was put the notebook in a drawer. Not the junk drawer in the kitchen, where things went to be lost, but the second drawer of her bedroom dresser, the one that held extra pillowcases and a stray candle. She slid the spiral-bound book between the folded fabric and closed the drawer firmly. For years it had lived in the open, on the toilet tank, on her nightstand, in her bag. Always within reach, ready for another attempt at fixing her face. Now just for tonight, she didn't want it staring at her. Her phone buzzed on the bed. Marco. So what's this about firing a job? Please tell me you quit being human wallpaper. She let out a short, surprised laugh. Then her eyes stung again. Lily, something like that. Big sister meltdown. Long story. His reply came quickly. Marco, I have ears and a whole afternoon of charting tomorrow. Tell me over lukewarm coffee? She hesitated, then typed. Lily, okay. After lunch? An answering thumbs up popped onto the screen. For the rest of the evening, she moved through her apartment like she was wearing someone else's shoes. She microwaved leftovers, watered the plant on the windowsill, tried to watch a show. Every few minutes, Jenna's words flickered through her mind. No one is forcing you. You don't have to be in our lives. She had always believed that was the threat, exile, distance, punishment for stepping out of line. Now, for the first time, it sounded like something else. Permission. The next day at the clinic, the morning rush blurred into a parade of faces. Worried, hopeful, impatient. Lily checked in patients, answered phones, rescheduled a teenager's laser appointment. All the while, she felt a strange emptiness where her constant anxiety about how she looked used to hum. Without the notebook under the desk, she had nothing to track, no running tally of how successful her eyeliner was that day. Her reflection in the computer monitor was just there. Not a project, not an emergency. At noon, Marco appeared with 2 paper cups and a granola bar balanced on top. Therapy, he announced, pushing 1 cup toward her. And a snack that pretends to be a cookie. They claimed the tiny break room, sliding into opposite sides of the wobbly table. The hum of the fridge filled the gaps between words. "So," he said, once she'd taken a sip, "tell me about the unpaid job you quit." The story came out in pieces. The real. The before shot. Emma's torn expression. Jenna's threat wrapped in sarcasm. Her own decision to walk out. Marco didn't interrupt, except to nudge the granola bar closer when her fingers started twisting the napkin into shreds. "You know," he said quietly when she finally wound down, "if this was a chart, I'd write long-standing pattern of emotional labor with no compensation." "I'm serious," she protested, half a laugh in her voice. "So am I," he said. "You've been doing this a long time, haven't you? Letting your sister decide what counts as acceptable." Lily stared at her coffee. "Since we were kids," she admitted. "Mom made it into a game, I guess. Who looked better in pictures? Who popped more? Jenna always won." "Did your mom say that?" he asked. "Not in those words," she said. "She'd just sigh when my hair frizzed or when I forgot lip gloss. She'd say, 'Well, not everyone can be striking,' and then tell Jenna to show me how to do it. Like I was the practice doll." Marco's expression softened. "So you learned that being loved meant being improved." Lily blinked. The sentence hit a place she hadn't named before. "I learned that being loved meant not making things harder," she said slowly. "Not being the reason photos had to be retaken. Not being the one who ruined the image." "And who taught Jenna that her job was to manage how everyone looked?" he asked. Lily almost said influencer school, but the truth arrived first. "Mom," she said. "Mom taught her that too." For a moment, the break room blurred, replaced by a memory. Her mother's voice, bright and commanding. "Chin up, Jenna. That's my girl perfect. Lily, sweetheart, can you stand a little behind your sister? It balances the shot better. We don't want too much sameness." She had been 12. She remembered the way her feet had obeyed before her brain could protest. How natural it felt to tuck herself half out of frame. "After Mom died, it got worse," Lily said now. Jenna clung to everything Mom used to say about looks and presentation. It was like if she could stay perfect, Mom didn't really leave. "And you?" Marco asked. "I tried to disappear," she said. "Easier than competing." He nodded slowly. "Those are both valid survival strategies," he said. "They just stop working when you grow up." Lily picked at the granola bar wrapper. "It's stupid," she muttered. "I'm an adult. I know better. But when Jenna texts, I still feel like I'm 12, messing up the picture." "Knowing better and feeling different are 2 separate projects," Marco said. "The first is homework. The second is construction." She huffed out a laugh. "You always talk like this?" "Only when I'm avoiding my own issues," he said lightly. Then his tone shifted. "Can I ask you something a little risky?" She tensed. "I guess. If Emma came to you at 25 and said, 'My mom makes me feel like I'm only valuable if I stand in the right place and look the right way,' What would you tell her to do? Lily didn't have to think. I'd tell her she deserves better, she said. That love isn't supposed to feel like a constant audition. That she can set boundaries and still care. That she's allowed to leave the room. Marco raised his brows. Sounds like you have good advice, he said. Have you considered taking it? She stared at him. The coffee cooled in her hands. The thing about advice was that it felt noble when you gave it to someone else and terrifying when you recognized yourself in it. I can't just leave them, she said. Dad, Emma, they're in the middle. If I pull away, Jenna will spin it like I abandoned them. She already started. So don't leave them, he said. Leave the role. What does that even mean? She asked. Maybe it means, he said slowly, that you stop showing up to play before any time Jenna wants to feel like after. Maybe it means you decide your presence is not a favor she can revoke, but a gift you can choose to give or not. The phrase lodged in her chest, leave the role. She had always thought her choices were stay exactly as things were, or vanish. Some third option hovered just out of reach, like a shape in condensation on glass. Talk to your dad, Marco added gently. Not about eyeliner. About history. About how things felt. I'm guessing he saw more than you think. The idea made her stomach twist. Her father wasn't cruel, just quiet, drifting through family storms with the resigned air of a man who'd learned that speaking up didn't change the weather. He won't know what to do with it, she said. Maybe not, Marco agreed. But you might. Sometimes saying it out loud is half the renovation. That evening, Lily sat at her kitchen table with her phone pressed to her ear, the hum of the refrigerator in the background. Her father picked up on the third ring. Hey, Lils, he said. Everything all right? She almost said fine, the automatic lie unfurling on her tongue. Instead, she took a breath. Rough weekend, she said. Can we talk for a minute? He listened in the halting, careful way of a man unused to emotional deep dives. She told him about the real, about Jenna's before comment, about walking out. There was a long pause on the other end. I'm sorry, he said finally. I should have. I don't know. I always thought you girls had your own language. Your mother could be hard on you, especially about looks. He cleared his throat. I told myself it was just her way. It hurt, Lily said quietly. Then and now. I know, he said. I saw your face when she moved you behind Jenna in pictures. I didn't know how to fix it without making a bigger scene. So I did nothing. She closed her eyes. That's been my worst habit, he added. Doing nothing. It was the closest thing to a confession she'd ever heard from him. I don't want Emma to grow up like that, Lily said. I don't want her to think her value is in how shiny she looks in a few seconds of video. I don't either, he said, voice firming. You're a good example for her, Lily. Not because of your face. He chuckled, awkward. Because of your heart. Your mother saw you as the easy one. She was wrong. You were the strong one. You just learned to be quiet about it. Something in her nodded, just a little. Do you think I'm overreacting? She asked. No, he said. I think you're finally reacting. That's different. They talked a little longer about small things. His back pain, the neighbor's new dog. But the current beneath the conversation had shifted. He asked, tentatively, if he could take Emma for an afternoon soon, just us, so she'd have somewhere to be that wasn't content. When they hung up, Lily sat for a long moment, phone still in her hand. Leave the role, Marco had said. Her father's quiet guilt, Emma's bright drawings, her own tired reflection. They all lined up in her mind like snapshots on a table. Maybe the choice wasn't whether she belonged in the family. Maybe the choice was how. She stood, walked to the dresser, and opened the drawer. The notebook lay where she'd hidden it, the edge of its cardboard cover peeking out between pillowcases. She pulled it free and flipped through the pages, past all the numbered looks and the cruel little notes in her own handwriting. On the last page, under hashtag 53, washed off, she drew a line. Below it, she wrote, "New project, not my face, my life." She stared at the words until they stopped trembling. Then she picked up her phone again and opened Jenna's message thread. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard as she considered what to say. For once, she didn't craft a careful apology or a half-joke to smooth things over. Instead, she typed, "I'm going to take some space for a while. I love you and Emma, but I won't be in your content or be talked about as the before anymore. If you want to talk about how we treat each other, I'm here. If not, I'm still Emma's aunt. That doesn't change." She read it twice, heart pounding, then hit send before fear could edit it into nothing. A minute later, the little delivered check mark appeared. Then silence. Lily set the phone face down, feeling oddly steady. She didn't know yet how Jenna would respond, or what storms that message might stir up. But for the first time, the image in her mind of the next family gathering didn't involve her standing half in shadow, trying not to ruin the shot. It involved her standing where she chose, in the light she chose, with the people who chose her back. By Friday, the notebook in the drawer felt less like a missing limb and more like a muted radio. Lily still reached for it in her mind sometimes, the way a hand goes to an old bruise. But each time she reminded herself, new project. Not her face, her life. At the clinic potluck, someone had brought 3 kinds of pasta salad and a questionable casserole that everyone politely ignored. The break room table sagged under paper plates and slow cookers. A wrinkled banner from some pharmaceutical rep hung crooked over the microwave. "Okay, everybody squeeze in," one of the nurses called. "Selfie time before the carbs knock us out." There was a chorus of groans and laughter. People shuffled closer, shoulder to shoulder, someone's elbow in Lily's ribs, someone else's perfume too strong. Lily's first instinct was to step to the side, to let taller, shinier people fill the frame. Marco said from behind her, giving her a gentle push forward. "Front row, pink one." She glanced back at him. "Pink one." "You give off pink energy," he said. "Like highlighter that doesn't blind you." It was a ridiculous compliment. It made her smile. She ended up near the center, one hand holding a paper plate, the other hovering awkwardly at her side. The camera timer beeped. A dozen faces tilted toward it, some laughing, some mid-blink. No one shouted about angles. No one rearranged her. Afterward, the nurse who'd taken the photo passed her phone around. "Ugh, look at me," someone moaned. "Why didn't you tell me my hair was doing that?" "Because we're your co-workers, not your lighting crew," another replied. When the phone reached Lily, she braced herself. There she was, between Marco and a medical assistant, eyes slightly crinkled from a half-laugh, hair doing whatever it wanted, cardigan a little crooked. Ordinary. Alive. Not a before picture. Just a person among people. "You always look so calm," the medical assistant said over her shoulder. "I swear, when patients see you, their blood pressure drops." Marco nodded. "You're the lobby sedative," he said proudly. "We should bill for you." No one said anything about her needing more contour. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She slipped out to the hallway to check it. "Dad, can you come by the house tonight? Jenna's here. Emma too. We need to talk about some things." Her stomach tightened. "Lily, is everything okay?" A long pause. "Dad, not really. but I think it could be. That was new. Her father rarely invited conflict on purpose. Everything all right? Marco asked when she came back in, reading her face quickly. Family summit, she said. Apparently, we're having one. Do you need an emergency alibi? He offered. I can develop a sudden, fake rash. She managed a small smile. Thanks. I think this one I have to show up for. He nodded, then added, remember, you're not the employee anymore. You don't clock in for their old scripts. The phrase steadied her. A few hours later, she pulled up in front of her father's small house, the one with the peeling paint and the stubborn azalea bush that refused to die. Jenna's SUV was already in the driveway. The porch light was on, even though it was still barely dusk. That was her father's way of saying, come in, even if this is awkward. Inside, the living room smelled like coffee and the lemon cleaner he overused. Jenna sat on the couch, one leg crossed over the other, in leggings and an oversized sweatshirt instead of her usual camera-ready outfits. Her hair was scraped into a messy bun that looked unintentional for once. Emma was at the dining table, hunched over paper, drawing hard enough to dent the wood. Her pencil moved in short, angry strokes. Her father hovered near the hallway, glasses low on his nose, expression worried. Hey, Lils, he said softly. Thanks for coming. Emma looked up. Aunt Lily, she said, voice trembly with relief. Lily went to her first. Hey, you, she murmured, smoothing a hand over her hair. Working on another masterpiece. Emma lifted the paper. It was a half-finished picture of three figures again, but this time, the one in the middle was scribbled over so dark the paper had torn. She's mad, Emma said. At everything. Lily's heart clenched. Who is? She asked gently, though she already knew. Me, Emma said. And Mom. And the stupid phone. Okay, Lily said. That's a lot of mad. We're going to talk about it, okay. Her father cleared his throat. Maybe we should sit, he suggested. They moved to the living room. Emma stayed at the table, but turned her chair to face them, knees pulled up under her chin, pencil still clutched in one hand. Jenna stared at the coffee table, where her phone lay face down, as if it might accuse her. So, Lily said, when no one else started, what's going on? Her father glanced at Jenna. The school called me today, he said. Emma's teacher. She was concerned about an essay Emma wrote. The prompt was one thing I worry about. Emma buried her face in her knees. She wrote about being not pretty enough for the videos, he said, voice tight. About her face ruining Mom's work. She said if she doesn't smile right, she's afraid you won't be happy, Jenna. Jenna winced. Dad, that's not fair, she said quickly. Kids exaggerate. She hears things online. She used your exact words, he cut in gently. About ruining shots. I recognize them. Lily watched Jenna flinch like he'd slapped her. It's not that simple, Jenna protested. This is my job. There are expectations. Brands want a certain look. If I don't deliver, they drop me. I'm doing everything I can to keep us afloat. No one is saying you're not working hard, Lily said, trying to keep her voice even. But I shouldn't be carrying the weight of your followers. Emma peered over her knees. I don't want to be in the phone anymore, she whispered. The room went quiet. Jenna's eyes shone. You always liked it before, she said weakly. I like being with you, Emma said. Not the part where we have to do it again and again because my eyes look wrong. It was a tiny voice, but the words filled the room. Lily's chest ached. She thought of her own childhood, the endless retakes, the feeling of being the piece that never fit. The script had moved down a generation almost perfectly. Her father rubbed a hand over his face. "This is why I wanted you both here," he said. "We've been repeating something, and it needs to stop." Jenna folded her arms. "So this is the part where everyone tells me I'm the villain," she asked. "I'm the one keeping everyone fed. I'm the one who turned Mom's obsession into an actual career. I didn't ask to be in charge of how the family looks. It was just assigned to me." The word hung there. Assigned. Assigned by who? Lily asked quietly. Jenna let out a harsh laugh. "You really don't remember, do you?" "Remember what?" Lily pressed. "The time Aunt Carol came over when we were teenagers," Jenna said. "She looked at you in that stupid yellow dress and said, 'My goodness, this one's a heartbreaker. People are going to stare at her wherever she goes.'" Lily frowned, the memory coming back in fragments. The kitchen, the smell of spaghetti sauce, Aunt Carol's perfume. The way she'd felt suddenly too big for her own skin. "She said you had movie star hair," Jenna continued, voice shaking. "And then, when you went outside, Mom pulled me into the pantry and said, 'You listen to me.' Lily has that effortless thing. People will notice her even when she does nothing. You don't have that luxury. You have to work. You have to keep yourself polished, or you'll disappear next to her. Do you understand?" Lily stared. "She said that to my face," Jenna said, like it was a pep talk. "You're the one who can't afford to slack off. You have to maintain the image for this family." And then she started telling me what to eat, what to wear, how to walk. Every time someone complimented you and not me, she tightened the screws. Her father's shoulders sagged. "I heard some of it," he admitted. "I told myself it was just her way of pushing you. I didn't realize how deep it cut." Jenna looked at Lily, eyes wet and hard all at once. "So, yeah," she said. "Maybe I overcorrected. Maybe I made you the plain one on purpose. Because I thought if I didn't, I'd vanish. Mom made it very clear there was only room for one of us in the spotlight." The room felt smaller suddenly, thick with old ghosts. All those times Lily had been moved behind Jenna for photos, told not to compete, teased for not trying, framed as the one who didn't quite measure up. She had carried them as proof that she was less. What if they had been proof of something else entirely? "You made me the before," Lily said slowly, "because you were afraid I'd be the after." "It sounds ugly when you say it like that," Jenna snapped, then deflated. "But, yeah, I guess I did. I thought if I controlled the story, I'd be safe." Lily's hands were cold. "You were already safe," she said softly. "You just couldn't see it." For a moment, no one spoke. Emma broke the silence. "I don't want to be the before or the after," she said. "I just want to be the middle, like the person." The simplicity of it landed like a prophecy. Her father cleared his throat. "I booked a photographer," he said suddenly, as if confessing something. "For my birthday next month. Nothing fancy. Just someone to come to the park and take a few pictures of us. I wanted one set of photos where we're not performing. Just us." Jenna blinked. "You didn't tell me." "I didn't want it to turn into a brand thing," he said. "No sponsors. No reels. Just a tired old man with his girls and his granddaughter." He looked at Lily. "I'd like you there. All of you. But only if we can agree on new rules." Jenna bristled. "Rules?" "No cameras for content," he said firmly. "No retakes because of hair or faces. One outfit each. If someone blinks, they blink. We keep it. And Emma only does it if she wants to." Emma nodded vigorously. Lily felt something settle inside her. A decision, quiet but solid. "I'll come," she said, "on one condition." They all turned to her. We stopped talking about faces like they're projects, she said, especially around them. We don't call anyone ruined or not polished. We talk about moments instead, about how it felt to be together. If we can't do that, I'm out. Jenna looked like she wanted to argue. Then she sagged back into the couch. I don't know how to be another way, she admitted in a raw whisper. This is everything I am. It's everything you've built, Lily said. It's not everything you are. Marco's question from the break room echoed in her head. What would you tell Emma to do? She looked at her niece. You know you don't have to be in any videos you don't want to, right? She said. Even if it makes people mad. Emma bit her lip. Mom says it's part of the job. Mom is learning new jobs, Lily said gently. One of them is listening when you say no. Jenna covered her face with her hands. I never wanted to hurt her, she said, voice muffled. I only know how to measure things in views and angles now. I don't know how to turn it off. Then we learn, their father said quietly. All of us. We learn new ways. Lily watched her sister, saw not the polished online persona, but a scared, exhausted woman who had been told from a young age that love was conditional on staying camera-ready. Compassion rose alongside anger, not replacing it, but standing beside it. I'm not going to drag you on the internet, Lily said. I'm not going to make a scene at the park. That's not who I am. But I'm also not stepping back into the shadow so you can feel safe. I'm done doing that. Jenna lowered her hands. Her eyes were red. So what are you going to do? She asked. Lily thought of the group photo at work, the way no one had tried to rearrange her. She thought of Emma's drawing with a bright pink dress. She thought of her father's quiet admission. I think you're finally reacting. I'm going to show up, she said, exactly as I am. For Dad. For Em. For me. If you decide to join us as a sister, not a director, that's great. If not, we'll still be there. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. To herself and to the small girl curling into herself at the table. Emma slid off her chair and crossed the room. She climbed into Lily's lap without asking, tucking her head under Lily's chin. Will you stand next to me in the picture? Emma asked. Only if you want me to, Lily said. I do, Emma whispered. You're my favorite pink. Lily met her sister's eyes over Emma's head. For the first time, she didn't see a judge or a rival. She saw another woman who had been handed a broken mirror and told it was the truth. You can stand next to us too, Lily said quietly. If you're ready to stop deciding who's allowed to shine. Jenna swallowed. I'll try, she said. No promises about knowing what to do with my hands. Neither do I, Lily said. Maybe that's the point. Later, as she drove home, she didn't replay the conversation frame by frame for flaws. She didn't wonder how her hair had looked under her father's dim ceiling light. She thought about the park, about grass and wind, and maybe a lopsided picture where someone's eyes were closed and someone was laughing too hard. She thought about a camera that might, for once, catch her not as a cautionary tale or a project in progress, but as what she'd always quietly been, a middle, a person, a kind of pretty that didn't need anyone's permission. And she decided firmly that when that day came, she was going to stand where the photographer told her, shoulders back, face bare or not, with no apology ready on her tongue. Whatever happened after the shutter clicked, she was done living like a before. The morning of the park photos, Lily did something radical. She got ready in 15 minutes. No ring light, no tutorial playing on her phone, no notebook propped open on the sink. She washed her face, dabbed on moisturizer, a little concealer under her eyes, and the softest swipe of mascara. Her hair went into loose waves with a few quick passes of the curling iron. Then she stopped before she could start fixing. When the familiar itch to reach for the spiral-bound notebook tugged at her, she opened the dresser drawer, looked at it for a moment, and closed the drawer again. Not that project, she told her reflection quietly. New one. Her phone buzzed. Marco, you alive? Remember, no unpaid rolls today. Just cake and grass stains. Lily, alive. Headed out. If I run, it'll be from gnats, not cameras. Marco, proud of you, pink one. She smiled, slipped the phone into her bag, and drove. The park her father had chosen was small and plain. A few trees, a duck pond, a playground with fading paint. Kids shouted in the distance. Somewhere, someone grilled hot dogs. It smelled like sunscreen and cut grass. Her father was already there, sitting on a bench near a picnic table with a store-bought cake in a plastic dome. Emma stood on the bench behind him, arms looped around his neck, swaying side to side. Her hair was in two slightly crooked braids. Jenna paced nearby, phone in hand, dressed simply in jeans and a soft green sweater. For once, she had no visible mic clipped to her collar, no ring light, no tripod. Her phone case, bright and glittery, looked almost out of place. A woman with a camera bag and a gentle face stood a little apart, adjusting her lens. The photographer, Lily guessed. There she is, her father said when he saw Lily, standing up with a groan. Birthday present number 1. Emma launched herself off the bench and barreled toward Lily. You came, she cried, as if there had ever been any doubt. She crashed into Lily's waist, arms wrapping tight. Of course I came, Lily said, hugging her back. Wouldn't miss it. Jenna approached slower, hands in her pockets. Hey, she said. You look nice. It was almost comical, how foreign the simple words sounded in her mouth without qualifiers. Thanks, Lily replied. So do you. The photographer walked over, smiling. You must be the daughters, she said. I'm Tasha. Your dad told me this is a no-drama, low-key shoot. My favorite kind. No drama, their father echoed. You hear that, girls? Doctor's orders. She's not a doctor, Emma whispered, then added in a stage whisper. She's cooler than a doctor. She has a camera. Tasha laughed. Flattery will get you extra shots, kiddo. They started with easy poses. All three around the picnic table, Emma between her grandfather and Lily, then Jenna and Lily on either side of their dad, then just Emma and her grandfather by the cake. More than once, Lily felt the old pull to step back, to let Jenna take the front. Each time, she remembered the text she'd sent and the promise she'd made to herself. Stand where you're asked, not where the script would have put you. Let's do one of just you two, Tasha said at one point, gesturing to Lily and Jenna. Sisters. They moved closer, an awkward shuffle. There was a beat where neither of them knew where to put their hands. Relax, Tasha said. You're not auditioning for anything. Just exist. Lily let her shoulders drop. Jenna exhaled a breath that sounded like it had been held since high school. On 3, Tasha said. 1, 2. Wait, Jenna blurted. Old reflex made Lily tense, ready for the familiar litany. Hair, chin angle. Instead, Jenna took a small step closer and slipped her arm through Lily's. I'm out of practice at this, she said quietly, not looking at the camera. At just being your sister. Lily glanced at her. There was no gloss in Jenna's eyes now, only something raw and wobbly. Me too, Lily said. We can be rusty together. Tasha hesitated, then smiled and lifted the camera again. Okay, she said. Now. The shutter clicked. After a while, Tasha suggested they move nearer the pond. where the light was softer. As they walked, another car pulled up on the gravel. Lily turned, surprised. Marco climbed out, holding a reusable grocery bag. "I brought the emergency brownies," he called, waving it. "And a salad so we can all lie to ourselves about balance." Lily blinked. "You came." "Your dad invited me yesterday," he said, lowering his voice as he reached her. Apparently, he wanted one person who isn't too afraid to tell us when we look ridiculous. Her father shrugged. "Man's got an honest face," he said. Jenna eyed Marco, then gave a short nod. "The nurse," she said. "From the clinic." "Guilty," Marco replied. "I promised not to critique your pores." He ended up hovering just beyond the photographer's shoulder, chatting with Tasha between shots, making ridiculous faces at Emma to get genuine laughs. When Lily shifted, unsure, he lifted 2 fingers in a small salute, like a silent reminder. "You're here because you chose to be." For the last set, Tasha gathered them at the edge of the pond, the water catching streaks of late afternoon sun. "Let's do one more all together," she said. "Nothing posed. Just talk, and I'll catch what happens." They clustered without being told where to stand. Her father in the middle, Emma leaning into him, Lily on one side, Jenna on the other. Marco stood just behind, half in frame, half out, unbothered. There was no counting this time, no 1, 2, 3 smile. Tasha lifted her camera and watched. "Look at the ducks." Emma shouted suddenly, pointing. A line of ducklings paddled past, chaotic and determined. "They're like us," Lily said, trying not to bump into each other and still go the same direction. "Speak for yourself," Jenna murmured. "I fully intend to bump into everyone." They laughed, genuine and overlapping. The shutter clicked again and again, catching open mouths, squinted eyes, a hand mid-gesture. Finally, Tasha lowered the camera. "Got it," she said. They migrated back toward the picnic table, where the cake waited. As they sliced and handed out uneven pieces, Tasha scrolled through the shots on her camera, choosing a few favorites. "Come take a look," she called. They gathered around the small screen, bumping shoulders. On the display, the last set of photos appeared. In one, Emma was mid-laugh, head thrown back. Her father's eyes were crinkled, hand resting protectively on her arm. Jenna's mouth was open mid-sentence, her face softer than Lily had seen in years. And there, just left of center, was Lily. Not in the background, not blurred, hair loose, face lit by something that had nothing to do with makeup or angles. Her eyes were on Emma, mouth curved in an unself-conscious smile, cake plate in one hand. "Whoa," Emma breathed. "That's us." Her gaze tracked across the tiny screen, then stopped. She pointed, small finger tapping the image of Lily. "She's pretty," Emma said. It wasn't shouted. It wasn't said to fix anything. It was simple, matter of fact. "She's pretty." Lily felt the words settle around her like a new kind of light. Not a spotlight, sharp and hot, but something quieter. Sun through leaves. Warm enough. Instinct told her to deflect, to joke, to redirect the compliment somewhere else. Before she could, her father spoke. "She is," he said. "Always has been." Beside him, Jenna let out a breath. "Yeah," she said softly. "She really is." Lily turned to her sister, surprised. Jenna was still looking at the screen, at the unposed, unfiltered version of their family. "It's weird," Jenna added, almost to herself. "When you stop trying to control every pixel, people just look like themselves." She glanced up, meeting Lily's eyes. "You look happy. I don't think I've ever noticed that in a picture before. I was always checking eyeliner." Lily swallowed, her throat thick. Maybe that's what pretty is, she said quietly. Being allowed to look like yourself. Emma nodded fiercely. I want to keep this one, she said. On the fridge. Not on the phone. Tasha smiled. I'll print it, she said. Big one. No filters. I promise. Later, when the sun dipped lower and the cake was reduced to crumbs, they packed up slowly. Tasha left with her camera bag. Emma chased a duck one last time. Jenna hovered by her SUV, phone in hand. I've been thinking, Jenna said, when Lily came over to say goodbye. About content. About Em. Lily braced herself. I'm taking a break, Jenna said, words awkward and new. From posting her. Maybe from posting, period. At least for a while. I don't know who I am if I'm not. On all the time. But I'd like to find out. Lily studied her face. There were fine lines at the corners of Jenna's eyes she'd never noticed, always smoothed away in edits. That's big, Lily said. It feels like quitting a job I wasn't getting paid for, Jenna said wryly. At least not in the right currency. Lily smiled at the echo of her own words. Welcome to the club. Jenna hesitated, then blurted, If I mess this up? You will, Lily said gently. We all will. That's kind of the point. Jenna huffed a laugh. You're really not going to make this easy, are you? No, Lily said. But I'll be here. As your sister. Not your assistant. Jenna nodded. I'll try to be worthy of that. They hugged, a little stiffly, but they didn't immediately pull away. On the drive home, Emma rode with Lily, window cracked, wind tangling her braids. Do you think Grandpa will really put the photo on the fridge? Emma asked. I think he'll probably put it on every wall, Lily said. I'm glad you were in the middle, Emma said. You looked like the main character. Lily laughed. That's a lot of responsibility. You're good at it, Emma said matter-of-factly. You make people feel nice. That's better than being shiny. The words threaded back through time to that bulletin board drawing, to the sentence in crooked child handwriting, the one she'd almost dismissed as a sweet fluke. Maybe it had been the truest caption she'd ever had. That night, back in her apartment, Lily stood in front of her bathroom mirror again. Same face, same blue eyes, same mouth that still had trouble accepting compliments without trying to twist them into jokes. She didn't look transformed. She looked like a woman who had cried and laughed in the same afternoon and eaten too much cake. She opened the dresser drawer and pulled out the notebook. For a moment, she flipped through the old entries. All those numbered looks, all the harsh little notes. On the last page, under New Project, not my face. My life, she added one more line. Result in progress. Turns out, I'm already a lot more than before. She closed the notebook, not to hide it, but because it didn't feel like a scorecard anymore. Just a record of how far she'd come. On her phone, a photo arrived from Tasha, the one from the pond. All of them mid-laugh, imperfect and fully themselves. Lily set it as her screen background without cropping anything out. As she turned off the bathroom light, Emma's voice echoed softly in her mind. She's pretty. For the first time, the words didn't feel like a verdict she had to live up to or a gift someone could snatch back. They felt like one small, honest piece of something larger. She's kind. She's present. She's learning to stand where she chooses. And in that quiet, ordinary apartment, with no ring lights and no audience, Lily realized the most important part. She believed it.